welcome back to another episode of the Cover 2 podcast. Thank you so much for joining. As your host, as always, Lawson Turner. We're going to be previewing the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves series. That series starts tonight at 8:30 on TNT or Max. This series should be great. These teams are, on paper, they're two. If you look at the stats, points per game in the postseason, offensive, field goal percentage, they're relatively close. Now, most are going to look at, oh, Minnesota won the regular season series 3-1. Kyrie did not play in all three losses, and Luka missed two of those games. And they haven't played since the Dallas Mavericks changed. Now, what do I mean by they changed? At the trade deadline, they made a lot of key moves, acquiring P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford, and Derek Lively, excuse me, wasn't the center that he is now when they were playing. They still had, players like Rashawn Holmes. Now, I'm excited for this series for a number of reasons. Anthony Edwards, Luka Doncic, then you got Karl Anthony Towns, then you got Kyrie Irving. It's going to be about your tertiary pieces. How can Minnesota stop what is eventually going to happen? And maybe Luka does this damn near every single play. Who's Rudy guarding? Comes at a ball screen. Can I get a switch? How can I get Rudy Gobert away from the basket? Now, last series it looked as if Denver tried that, but Rudy still had for as much slack as he was getting by myself and a lot of people in the media, that Rudy, defensive player of the year, you should slow down or at least stop to an extent Jokic, and Jokic kind of, had his way with him a couple times, but Jokic would have had his way with most defenders this past season, including, your finalists like Wemby and AD, and he did it to Rudy. So I think that this series is going to come down to how can Luka and the Mavs, how can they get Rudy away from the basket, and can they get more, not more production, but can your role players stay exactly how they were in the middle and towards the tail end of the Thunder series? Derrick Jones 22 points and was playing fantastic defense in the closeout in Game 6. P.J. Washington had a 3-game stretch in which he was sensational on the offensive end of the floor. When I was looking at the stats, the biggest thing for me, Dallas is dead last when it comes to free throw percentage at 69.8%. Even if you want to round up to 70, that's generous. That is last in, out of all teams that have played postseason games, out of all 16, they're last. They're literally free. Make your damn free throws. While Minnesota shoots 79.6, if you want to round up to 80%, that is 8th. So, and when you look at like turnovers, Dallas is at 12, Minnesota's at 11.5. They are really close when it comes to total team stats. And Ant's been on a tear, and if Luka and or Ant isn't scoring, what else are they doing? Are they playmaking? Are they getting others involved? Are they playing good on the defensive end? I expect Dallas to win this series in 6. It's going to be tough. I don't expect them to win Game 1 tonight. They haven't won a Game 1 under Jason Kidd, and I would be surprised if Dallas comes out and wins Game 1 and steals home court. I don't think that Minnesota will crumble or say, well, damn, now we're down 0-1, because we saw them take a 2-0 lead, lose 3 straight, win win Game 6 convincingly, and then come back from down 20 in the second half against the reigning champs, the Denver Nuggets, just last series. This should be a good one. There's no reason for this series to. I don't think it'll be an offensive series. I think both teams are really good defensively. Both have a lot of length. Both have good rim protection, with Lively and Daniel Gafford for Dallas, and Rudy Gobert and Naz Reid, who can come off the bench and light it up. He's a big, high energy guy. And with all that being said, though, like I mentioned, I'm picking Dallas in 6. I can't wait. This game tips off in about 2 hours at the time of recording. But this should be great. Winner of this could very well be who wins it all. Does could who is what young superstar? Because the two best players on the best player on their respective teams are superstars, and they're young. They don't have a lot of postseason experience. Luka's been to the conference finals once. This is Zane's first time, and I'm excited because it should be a hell of a series. But that's all I have for you guys in this video. I know it's a quick one, but not much to talk about till we see these teams tip off. Thank you so much for watching. As always, for the Cover 2 podcast, I'm your host, Lawson Turner. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at the Cover 2 Pod 26. 2 on Twitter, spelled T-O. Link will also be in the description to make it a little bit easier. And let me know in the comments, who do you guys have taking this series and representing the Western Conference in the NBA Finals? Like I said earlier, for the Cover 2 podcast. And as your host, Lawson Turner, I'm kind of rambling. I need to wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching and joining us for another outstanding episode of the Cover 2 podcast. And I will speak to you guys very soon. Peace.